What is up, guys? Basic Guardian here, and this is going to be a continuation of the quick start guide that I made on this channel. When I first started in Final Fantasy, I was a Hume in Bestock, so that's what I made this time. I made myself this delightful character named Beardtastic, and him and I are going to go on an adventure. I figured I have not done a new character in over a year, and what better way to continue the guide than to actually play through it myself at that level. So I did some dinking around in South Gusterberg, and I even got a claim on Leaping Lizzie. Unfortunately, she didn't drop the boots. No! Then I struggled my way through North Gusterberg into the Konstadt Highlands, and here we are, my Hume Beardtastic. All right, so we are going to get to leveling. I'm going to use Valanerol for tanking, Tenzin for damage, and good old Milialipo. So yeah, we're just going to get to leveling and talk about stuff. Why not? Something I find kind of amusing is this is some people's entire memory of Final Fantasy XI is sitting out here for hours and hours and hours just waiting to get a party, you know? It was tough back in the day after certain jobs. God, I could not have imagined trying to be like a Gulka Black Mage in the Dunes time. Like, you just weren't getting a party. Back in like 2004, you know what I mean? Millie is already out of MP. This is not good. Get him, Tenzin. Hey. I remember the early days when monsters wouldn't despawn. Oh god. When monsters wouldn't despawn and you could end up with like a whole pile of links of certain enemies all joining together and chasing everyone to the zone. There's so many times you would see a big old herd of goblins by that front door over there. It was ridiculous. I don't remember if lizards link or not, but I didn't want to take the chance. I think they do, though. Perfect. Our tank is poisoned. Wonderful. I'd love to see it. Oh, Val's using his own MP. All right. Way to be, Val. Appreciate it. I want you to be honest with me. If you were a lower level job, and maybe you were like, I don't know, like a Gulka Black Mage, how many hours did you spend sitting by this guy right here? Like, just how many days were you out here just praying and hoping that somebody would invite you to party? Because for certain jobs back in the day, it was rough going. Not so much if you were a white mage, but even if you were a Gulka White Mage, yeah, they were certainly going to scrutinize you, but I just remember I was several days spent sitting out here just praying that somebody would take pity on me and let me come play. Trusts are so nice because you can just get rid of them and resummon them, and if you've got backups for each type of position, you can just infinitely keep a party going. Definitely not the case back in the day. You had to, your mages had to have juices so they could get their magic points back, and it was a whole thing. So I've got two macros right now. I've got one for provoke and one to engage an enemy. I figured just the basics. Also, I don't think I even have any other abilities other than my juice. Got Destiny on the brain. My 1 hour ability, which used to be a 2 hour ability. Definitely wishing I had some sushi or other accuracy food because this is painful. But I ain't got money for that. I've got 700 gil. But I did take on that beginning mission and get myself a raising earring and an Empress band for free. So that was pretty nice. Speaking of which, that's ready to go again. Oh, sure. I level up one fight after you guys just got pulled back out. And I know people have been kind of clamoring for a part 2 of my quick start guide, but really I was just trying to explain as much as I could in as little time as possible because up until very recently, I don't know exactly when this was added, but I do not remember this adventuring primer full of like how to move your character and all of this stuff. Like, I don't remember this. And it's cool that this is here, but it's also, like, 10 years too late or whatever, but... Or 15, 20 years too late, if we're being honest. But, I'll figure out something to talk about. I guess I could talk about, like, where to level from 1 to 99, like the fastest spots. We could do that. I could talk about sub-job items and stuff like that, but that's more for, like, nostalgia, I guess, because you don't even need to do that now. You can just do it through the Rhapsodies of Vana'diel missions, so it's completely unnecessary, but yeah, I'm probably going to do it on this character just because I actually like doing that stuff. And then I guess I could talk about, how to get to Juneau and then about getting your Chocobo license and stuff. I don't know. I'll figure something out. If you can't tell, I'm not the best guide maker, but I figure if you guys want it, I'll make it. But until then, well, this is where my last guide left off at, was just getting to the dunes, so we'll go with this. But on that note, yeah, the next several hours are probably just gonna be me whacking lizards and snippers in the dunes. I remember the most dangerous thing about fighting these guys was when they would blow up and like take out your whole party. Here it comes. Here it comes. Oh, it's a bad one. But the reason why you'd want to fight goblins instead of the lizards is because they didn't do plague breath. And technically they were easier because they had way less HP or defense or something, like you could take them down quicker, but man, they were also a little bit riskier because they could clean your clock pretty quick. Pull this guy from as far as we can and then get the hell out of here. Don't do it. Don't hit me. Ow. Charge. What are Tinkerers? Are they red mages? I think they're red mages. I forget if butchers or warriors or dark knights, but either way, they hit really hard. Oh, God. Look out, Val. Hey, level 15. All right. Time for some new trusty boys. Hello, butcher. Prepare to die. So, I want to talk about my easiest time I've ever had in the dunes. I was like level 11, and I was a monk. I had soloed up to level 11 back in Gusterberg or someplace, and then I waddled out here, and I was subbing war. And I remember, for whatever reason, that day on the server Cerberus, which is where I originally came from, like, nobody was looking for party. Like, for whatever reason, and they were actually here in the dunes, shouting, knee dee dee, yada yada. And as soon as I put my party flag up, they're like, hey, you want to come party? We need a DD. And I was like, sure. And monk at level 11, they're not bad or anything, but they're certainly not, the crispiest DD in the game or anything. But who is at level 11, But the awesome part about being in a level 11 monk is I think the only ability I had was boost. So my only responsibilities, I didn't have to pull, I didn't have to tank, I just had to fight and use boost before my weapon skills. And that was it. And I can't remember if I think it was me, a warrior, a thief, a white mage, a red mage, and a black mage or something. It was very much like a classic starting party, But the best part for me was just that there was literally no pressure on me to do anything other than just whack stuff. And that was fantastic. And we didn't static party, but we were out here until we were all level 16 or something. And then when I got out of that party and came back the next day, I started looking for a party and again just got another one straight off the hop. And since I already had my sub job and everything done, I just took it all the way to level 20 and then was off to Quiffum Island. And it was such a easy, relaxing time on monk because there was no pressure. Like, just not having to pull or tank or anything was fantastic. And I know that's why people love to play damage dealers in this game, is because they get to do all the fun stuff and none of the bullcrap like tanking and the only thing they have to worry about is not pulling too much aggro and using weapon skills, which is really fun. So Yeah, that was my best experience. My worst experience was being out here on Paladin for my first time ever, because I didn't have anything for magic points, right? Like my MP was so limited. I could only do a few cures. And I can't remember who I was partying with at first, but they were just constantly going out of their way to try to rip aggro off. I'm pretty sure... Oh yeah, it was a warrior who was using Provoke to pull. And it was just a big mess. But the reason why it was such a pain was because someone in my party was on their main. They were 75 Paladin themselves. And they were there on their Black Mage. And they just kept saying all this stuff to me and being rude and being like... Oh, I wish Paladins knew how to hold aggro these days, and all this nonsense. And I was like, bro, I'm level 10, and these things are hitting me like a truck. I have the best armor I can have and whatever, but not only that, but this warrior is using Provoke to pull, and it was so elitist and snotty and just ridiculous. I mean, who's expecting a level 10 Paladin to be, best in slot, frickin' amazing tank? You're just getting your feet wet, You're just getting out to the dunes for the first time. And I think we were trying to fight goblin butchers and stuff at level 10. And you shouldn't fight these guys till you're like 12 or 13, because level 10, they're like incredibly tough, plus. They're hurting you. You want to fight hill lizards for the first few levels out here. So that was definitely the worst experience. Just this paladin breathing down my neck about how I was just trash. Which, I mean, I was, but I had the best sword, shield, and armor I could have at that level. I even had the old, hey, level 16, let's go, dude. I was best in slot for that level at that time, but man, I couldn't appease this level 75 paladin because he was godly. But it's fine. I don't care. It's whatever. But yeah, that was one of my worst parties out here. Just for like 3 or 4 levels, just having to constantly hear about how awful I was at holding hate. And back then, I just put up with it because I want to make sure I can keep this party for as long as I can keep it going for. That's what you would do back then. You'd put up with whatever because you just had to. It was, you didn't want to risk losing a party. You didn't dare get kicked or whatever. But eventually, what made that party get a little bit better is eventually the warrior had to go. And I think the reason why we were letting him pull or whatever is because he was the guy who built the party. So, but he had to go. And he passed leader to the white mage in the group, and that white mage invited a thief to pull. And then everything got better. Then everything was fine. It was fantastic and clear sailing from there on out. But man, it was rough starting though. I'll say that much. I'm remembering all the old camp locations. I remember somebody used to camp up here, and they would pull goblins out of the little bonfire there. But you've heard one of my stories. Now I'm kind of curious to hear yours. What was your best experience in the dunes? And also, what was your worst? Because there's some doozies out here. I think tied for worst would be a pretty common experience I think a lot of people have. And that is when you come out here you just got level 10, and you're wearing your level 10 gear, and then you get into one fight and you get gobby bomb toss or something. You get de-leveled, and now you don't even have any gear. That's pretty bad. And I've had that happen once myself, but I think a lot of people have had a similar experience to that. I don't think that's a very unique experience, but I'm curious to hear what you guys have had going on. Can I just say that I absolutely love that you can just resummon trust after a couple minutes, so you don't ever have to have downtime, really? Well, it's looking like it's about time to move on to snippers. To be honest, it's probably been time to move on to snippers, but, I was talking and not paying attention. Only one way to find out if we can fight the sandbats. Of course, this is probably the worst time to move to the other side because it's about to be dark, and once it gets to be dark, obviously that's when all the ghoulies and ghosties come out. Oh, the sandbats are easy prey. I've been killed by these before. Well, it's probably because I was like level 13 or 12 or something, and just trying to run back to the zone. And you get aggro and you're all by yourself, and yeah, it's a mess. But in a party of 4 at level 16 in 2021, they're obviously not a problem. Hello, Hill Lizard. Hello, hello. In classic OG Final Fantasy fashion, I didn't buy silent potions or prism powders because, you know, at this level you wouldn't even be buying that stuff. You would just be hoping you get to where you're trying to go. But I do have 1,000 gil now. Look out. It's a come up. Oh my god. Yeah, we definitely didn't want to fight that. Holy cow. Okay, it was time to move on to Snippers, but I don't know if this camp is going to work because it's overrun with goblins. So I remember fighting Snippers here one time, a million years ago, back when, you know, people would actually be in a party and stuff. And I had gotten into a Japanese party. I don't know how it happened, but all 5 of them were Japanese, and I was the only English player. And I was on my Thief? 99% sure I was on Thief. Because they wanted me to be the puller. And I'll never forget, Japanese players played very different than American players in that they were far more efficient and better at planning. And that's no disrespect against American players. There's plenty of great American players, but back in the heyday, we're talking like 2004 era, obviously, they just had been playing a lot longer, you know, because the game came out a lot sooner there than it did here. So getting invited to a Japanese party was a very exciting thing. And I'll never forget, they wanted me to pull, but every time the leader would speak to me in English, but he had those different letters that only appear on the Japanese keyboard. And they're different. You've seen them if you've played this game. They're skinnier. But every time he wanted me to pull a crab, he would type out this. But it was that classic Japanese thinner text. And it made me laugh every time because no disrespect against the language barrier. I thought it was awesome he was even communicating to me. I thought it was great that they invited me to party with them. But when he would want me to go pull a crab, he didn't want me to wait till the one was dead. He would want me to disengage and start pulling the next one before that one was dead. And he had it all down to a science. So when he wanted me to go, he would type that out in all caps. Oh, and he had a call with it. I think he did the classic call one, which was obnoxious. I'm going to do it just for the sake of it. Yeah, I would get that every time it was time for me to go pull a crab. And I just like a lapdog. Again, I'm in a Japanese party with XP going faster than I had ever seen before. Yes, sir. I will go get that crab immediately. But it was the funniest thing is just to this day. Sometimes I'll still jokingly call crabs crubs, just because I'll never forget that. I was in that party for like 3 or 4 hours, and we until people were getting close to level 20, or I think everybody had gotten level 20. And it was great. It was a wonderful time. No, we didn't get level 20. Level 18. Everybody was getting level 18 for their sub jobs. Or not. No, I don't remember. I just remember we did stop at level 18. I remember that much. But we had started at like level 13 or 14. But yeah, pull crub okay. It was a fantastic time. It was a great experience. I felt very, very lucky to be in that party. Although to this day, it's one of the things I still admire about Final Fantasy XI was that they brought together all of these disparate communities, you know? The fact that you could have Americans playing with Japanese, playing with Europeans, all on one server was fantastic. Because, well, I mean, the rest of the world too. I mean, people from, you know, Australia, South America, wherever. But I primarily played with Americans, Europeans, and Japanese. But no other game was really doing that. If they did have the whole world available, usually it was, you know, if you're from Europe, you play it on Europe servers. And if you're from Japan, you play it on Japan servers, and so on and so forth. So, and the fact that it was not only, you know, cross-country platforming like that, but also that gambler scared me. But also cross-platform, you know, is PlayStation 2 and PC. Andy Sabi! No! I thought I was so sneaky. Get them, boys. We don't need it, but I've got Berserk. I didn't even realize. Let's go. But yeah, I don't need this. At least I don't think I need this, but I'm popping it just because. I think I'm going to call it at level 18 anyways. Huh. That was way easier than I thought it would be. Let's go for this other one. Come here. I still got Mighty Strikes for 20 seconds. Which might get me killed. Whoops. Yikes. 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 Oh no. Oh no. Got him. Oh god, I hear another one. Please no. Oh, it was his death sound. I was panicking. God, I'm gonna attract... Oh no, I'm losing Beastman seals. Yikes. Thought I was a goner, boys. Thought I was a goner. Could have been the end for the Beardtastic voyage. Here I am, out here in the bogey universe, rocking 65 HP. This is not a good look. Why did I evoke that? What am I doing? Thank the Lord. I've lost my mind. Making small brain plays over here. Not that that's any different than normal. See, now, I know for myself, I'm definitely going to do the whole sub-job items thing. This is a really risky camp with all these goblins now. Jeepers. I know I'm going to do the sub-job item thing, but I'm curious if I shouldn't at least talk about how you do it through Rhapsodies of Vana'diel. I don't know, because I didn't do it that way myself, so I'm really not sure. I think you just complete the first mission, though. Like, you got to go get beehive larvas or something from something in the Conchett Highlands. I think it's something from bees. I don't remember. I know I did the mission, but I already had my sub-job at that point. It's not beehive larva. That's not even a thing. Beehive larva? What the hell am I talking about? Remember this old camp? This was the camp. Camp in the ship. And if I played on a private server, I'm sure it's probably still in use. The only thing that did suck sometimes is you would come out here, right? And you'd set up camp here, but you're just the slightest bit inefficient. Maybe you don't have the best party makeup or something. Maybe you invited some dumb monk who's underleveled, you know, like me. And, hey, level 18, let's go. But as a result of being underleveled, or whatever the case might be, you're not pulling the most efficiently. So enemies are showing back up faster than they're being killed, and as a result, some other party might recognize that and just move on in and steal your spot. Camp right on top of you. I remember that happened all the time here. You'd end up with a party camping right here, pulling sippers off the beach, and then you'd have the party down there on the boat, and you're just like, come on, man. Why you gotta do me like that? I'm gonna try to get into Selbina, but if I see a bogey, I'm gonna have to abort this mission. Ah, the beginning of Rhapsodies. Here we go. I was just talking about that a second ago. I still love the Selbina music. It's still some of my favorite music even in 2021. I mean, not like favorite music of all time, but definitely favorite music of Final Fantasy XI. It's just such a classic tune, you know? This little Irish jig or whatever it is. What am I doing? Left the home point crystal. Now, I'm curious, how much does it charge to go back to my home? Oof. 500 gil? No, thank you. I will use this, though. Ha ha ha. How far are we on the conquest? Look at that, boys. We almost have our warp ring. I haven't even set a home point yet, so this character's still warping to the center of the stock markets. Beautiful. I'm just going to leave it like that forever. Never setting a home point. Participate, I shall. What kind of response is that? Oh god, this thing again. I think this is what records your whatchamacall, records of eminence. I think they're something to do with the doll itself, but this thing never comes into play later on, I'll tell you that much. Poo-roo-roo, where are you? Thank you. Now grip the doll tightly and think pleasant thoughts of your Unity leader. It's a big yikes for me, Chief. Oh, you get the music from the tree in Windurst. I've always loved how Cardians talk. Like, I think it's supposed to be, like, to represent its robotic. Like, this is absolutely wonderful. Now we have money, all thanks to Apu Ruru. But trying to actually say that properly, like, this is absolute. Like, it's, no. I can't capitalize individual words in the middle of a sentence. At least I always heard the Cardians as speaking robotically. Maybe that's just me. All right. Start earning some Unity accolades. Beautiful, beautiful. More importantly, hopefully get that Unity lady out here so I can have a decent white mage that isn't Milialiapu. Go unload all my stuff in the Mog House. I haven't even been in there yet. Oof. Oh, hey, Moogle. I remember the first time I ever came to the Mog House, I thought you were going to have like an actual house or whatever, like in other games. I didn't realize it was just like everybody lived through one doorway. Now, I know at least like a neighborhood or an apartment complex or something, but I thought you were going to be able to see it from the outside, you know what I mean? What is he talking about? If you ever run into any problems, just ask your fellow adventurers for help. If you type /AE hello, then your message will be heard by many people. Oh, this must be that new thing they added. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's neat. Excuse me, sir. Can I dump my stuff off with you? Oh, God. More talking. What is this? It all began with a raindrop, or so the legend says. Moogles are more cute than they should be allowed to be. But that's where I'm going to call it for today, guys. Thank you so much for joining me on this beardtastic voyage. It's actually been pretty fun replaying through the game as a lowly level 1 human, getting up to 18 in my first little couple-hour play session, going out to the dunes, having a little fun. I am looking forward to hearing your guys' Dune stories. There's so many, you know, there's so many memories. Like I said before, that's like some people's only memory of the game is partying in the dunes because it's iconic, you know? This is sort of part 2 of the quick start guide, but it's not really a guide, and I don't know. We'll see where that goes. But yeah, next time I think I'm gonna try to get my sub job items, and if that goes well, I'm gonna try to get over level 20 and get myself to Juneau. Maybe start on my Chocobo quest. And yeah, that's going to be my goal for next time. And I hope to see you guys there. But until next time, I've been Basic Guardian. And I hope to see you in the next one. All right. Toodaloo.